A very good evening. So there was a bit of pre-Christmas cheer for some businesses in Bristol and North Somerset today, with the news that both areas will move down to Tier 2 coronavirus restrictions from Saturday. It's fair to say it was a bit of a surprise, but there wasn't such good news for South Gloucestershire, which stays in Tier 3. We'll hear from all three areas in just a moment. But first, Andrew Plant's been looking at what it means for where you live. Evening, Andrew.
Hi Alex, yes, you're right. Most of our conversations yesterday were about which areas in the West might move up into tighter restrictions rather than down into a lower tier. But then the Health Secretary Matt Hancock surprised everybody today when he stood up at the dispatch box. In fact, the first thing he talked about was the fact that Bristol and North Somerset had done well to get their coronavirus rates down and would be dropping into Tier 2. So let's just show you a map of the situation as it is now. Until Saturday at least, you can see most areas in the West there are in Tier 2, but Bristol, North Somerset and South Gloucestershire are in Tier 3. But then come Saturday morning, it will look like this, just South Gloucestershire all on its own in Tier 3. Now we'll talk more about exactly why that decision has been made in a minute, but first let's get some reaction from the Mayor of Bristol, Marvin Rees, and he had a fairly measured response to today's news.
There's obviously going to be some relief among many people in the city, particularly those in the hospitality sector, because they will be able to open their doors again to customers. But we recognise it comes with a lot of risk, and the virus is still with us. I'm concerned about going into the Christmas period and the relaxation and the potential for a whiplash back of COVID upticks in the new year.
Let's just give you a quick reminder of the tier rule. So in Tier 3 then, as many people will be used to by now, you can't mix your household bubbles at all really, only in wide open spaces, and restaurants and bars can only open for a takeaway service. But in Tier 2, people in Bristol and North Somerset will have to get used to this. Restaurants can open if they serve substantial meals, and you can mix in the rule of 6 in your garden or outside. Now, why has South Gloucestershire been singled out? Well, it's true. Bristol's virus rates have come down a lot, as have North Somerset's over the past 4 weeks. But so have South Gloucestershire's, just not quite as much. The government, though, described the situation there as deteriorating. Nevertheless, I think people in South Gloucestershire will feel a bit hard done by when they look south, but also when they look north, because they haven't even got the highest coronavirus rates in the West. They are in Gloucester and in the Forest of Dean too, and they, of course, are staying in Tier 2.
They are, and we'll hear more from you in a little bit. Thank you so much, Andrew.